I wasn't supposed to be up here tonight. My dad, Pastor Durso, he was supposed to be speaking tonight, and earlier this afternoon said that he wasn't feeling good. And I said, don't worry about it, Pop, we got it. And I sat with my team. I said, guys, I need something. And we started, there was a story that has been on my heart, and went through it, and kind of got some pieces together, and then went to my team and say, guys, all right, now I need a title, because titles are important. And I said, how about the better way? And then Elisha said, his way is better. And so he said, yeah, that's the title. That's the title. And then Danny had no idea about the sermon or the title. And we go and start singing Your Way is Better. And to trust him. And yeah. I say that only because, you know, you have to go, especially for me, it's confirming that we're hearing from the Lord, and there's a direction that the Lord wants to take us. And when I think about all the plans, I'm a planner. I got everything on my phone. I got lists for days on my phone. I got what I want in life, what I want for my kids, what I want in the next 5 years, 10 years, things that I want to accomplish. And then when you sit back and and I'm not saying we don't do that, that's fine. But we bring it to the Lord and we invite him in it, and we just go, God, your way is so much better. I need to trust you more. Give me this grace to trust you more, because man, your way is so much better than mine. I know what I'm like when I do things my way. And unfortunately, it doesn't work out most of the time. So his way is better. So I want to talk to you quickly. We'll get back to singing and we're worshiping, and we got some prayer requests. We got some incredible praise reports. We're going to take communion as a church, and but I've kind of given you the whole sermon already. But here we go. Abram, before he's Abraham. This is Genesis chapter 13. We're going to read verses 1 through 18, and it's Abram and Lot separate. It says, so Abram went up from Egypt to the Negev with his wife and everything he had, and Lot, who's a family member, nephew, went with him. Abram had become very wealthy in livestock and in silver and gold. From the Negev, he went from place to place until he came to Bethel, to the place between Bethel and Ai. Listen to this. Where his tent had been earlier. So he's coming back to a place he's already been, and where he had first built an altar. He's coming back to a place he's already been. When he was there last time, he built an altar. There, Abram called on the name of the Lord. Now Lot, who was moving about with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents. But the land could not support them while they stayed together, for their possessions were so great that they were not able to stay together. And quarreling arose between Abram's herders and Lot's. The Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land at the time. Space was limited. So Abram said to Lot, let's not have any quarreling between you and me, or between your herders and mine, for we are close relatives. Is not the whole land before you? Let's part company. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left. Lot looked around and saw that the whole plain of the Jordan toward Zoar was well watered, like the garden of the Lord. Like the Garden of Eden, like the place where God freely walked with Adam and Eve. It looked like that. Like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Verse 11, so Lot chose for himself the whole plain of the Jordan and set out toward the east. The two men parted company. Abram lived in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived among the cities of the plain and pitched his tents near Sodom. Now the people of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. Abram said to Lot, go whatever direction you want. You go to the left, I'll go to the right. You go to the right, I'll go to... You choose whatever direction that you want. You choose. I'm not going to choose. You choose. And whatever direction you choose, great. That's yours. And I'll go the other way. So Lot has a choice to make. There is so much power in a choice. We make choices every single day. We make choices about directions every day, about our career, about our relationships, about the time you want to spend with somebody or don't want to. There is choices every single day, and we make these choices most of the time satisfying ourselves. We're the priority in our choice making for the most part. Not really realizing all the time that today's decisions affect tomorrow. I'm happy that we all chose to come to prayer meeting. I'm happy that you chose to watch online. I'm happy that I hope most of us chose to fast during this 21-day fast that we're doing as a church. There are some that chose not to. We make choices upon choices every single day, and so many times in life we're at this place of decisions, and it matters. And Lot chose the land that looked better, that looked like the Garden of Eden, looked like where God had freely walked, where his presence was. Looked good. But Lot chooses, makes a choice. Doesn't say he prayed. Doesn't say he built an altar and worshiped God. Doesn't say he said, hey God, what do you think? Which way should I go? Didn't consult with anybody. No really time spent. He saw with his own eyes. He's walking by sight, and he makes a choice. Which, if you read the later chapters, it's actually a horrible choice. The first, it says he pitches his tents near Sodom. If you keep reading, then he goes closer to the wall, and then finally he's actually living in Sodom and becomes like a governor, like a leader inside. And he winds up losing his entire family. His kids leave him, his wife dies, he loses everything he's got because of this one choice. See, Lot thought, he saw and he chose. It looked good. Lot thought that the land was going to take care of him. Abram wasn't worried because he knew it wasn't the land that was going to take care of him. It was God that was going to take care of him wherever he went. Why? Because wherever he went, he knew God was with him. As I look at this, I see Lot looking. I see us looking. 2024, January, February, March, April, May, looking at all the opportunities that lie before us this year, looking at all the places that we're gonna go, all the decisions that we have to make, all these things, all the incredible moments that could happen this year. We're out here looking, and I'm like, I don't want to walk by sight. I want God's direction. I want God's presence with me. I want to make sure that wherever I'm going, that he's walking with me, because it's not my decisions that are going to take care of me. It's not the land that I move into. It's not the job. It's not this or that. It's not any of that stuff. I have to trust solely in God, that only God is going to take care of me, and only because he's with me wherever I go. And so my choices are based in God alone. They're bathed in prayer, they're bathed in worship. They're like, God, I can't do this alone. Yeah, that looks good, but I'd rather be in a desert with God than in the Garden of Eden without God. That's why we're taking this time to fast and pray. Sacrificing something that affects our bodies in a desperate plea, saying, God, you're all I want everywhere I go because you'll take care of everything. I mean, even the other song, you're all I want, nothing else matters. You're all I need, you're all I want. I'm seeking your kingdom first, and then all the other things will be added. Then verse 14, it goes on to say, the Lord said to Abram, after Lot had departed from him, look around from where you are to the north and south, to the east and west. All the land that you see, I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted. Go, walk through the length and breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you. So Abram went to live near the great trees of Mamre at Hebron, where he pitched his tents. There he built an altar to the Lord. So, God waits. Lets Lot leave. Go ahead, Lot. You ever know, like, when you're like waiting for somebody to walk out the room and God's like waiting for Lot and his herders and his animals to walk on out because he wanted to have a private moment with Abram. And then God repeats the promises that he told Abraham in Genesis chapter 12. He reminds him of the promise. He reminds him of all the things that he was going to give him, and the inheritance and the land and the descendants and the kid and all this stuff. Like, he reminds him, he's like, hey, I said I was going to do it. I'm just reminding you. You don't have to worry. See, Abram makes this massive, generous offer to Lot. He could have said, I mean, this is really all because of me. I'm going to take the land that I want to go. He makes this generous offer to Lot. And he didn't even have to worry about being overly generous because he knew God was going to supply his needs. Because Proverbs 11:24 says the world of the generous gets larger and larger. Where Lot saw and made a choice and said, I'm going to take this, God goes, Abraham, I'm going to give you all of this. North, south, east, west, as far as your eye could see. Lot was looking one direction. God goes, I'm going to give you every direction. And it says Abe goes to live by the great trees of Mamre at Hebron. This is fun. Mamre means the place of seeing. Hebron means communion. When we're in communion with God, we have vision for our life, making better choices because we are choosing Him. And then Abram settles in and he builds another altar. He worships. Abram lived a life in constant awareness of the need for sacrificial atonement and communion with God. So when you have radical worship, it'll turn into radical prayers, which requires radical obedience, but it brings radical blessings. I want to be looking at 2024, looking at all the opportunities that we have as individuals, as families, as a church, and say, God, I only want what you have for me. Would you lead me and guide me and direct me? Because I don't want to see what looks good and make decisions based on what looks good for me solely. If you don't go with me, I'm not going. If you're not with me, I'm not making that decision. I don't care how lucrative it looks like in the moment, I don't want it. Lot loses everything. But because God was with Abram, he gets everything.